Have you ever stopped to consider if something as simple as fruit could be silently undermining your health? From childhood, we're told fruits are nature's candy, packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and nutritious sweetness. But here's what nobody tells you. Not all fruits are created equal, especially as we age. For those of us navigating life over 60, our bodies are changing. Metabolism slows, the digestive system becomes more sensitive, blood sugar control grows more fragile. And the truth is, some fruits, while healthy for the young, can become silently dangerous for older adults. Yes, dangerous. High sugar content, risky medication interactions, or hidden acidity can cause real harm if we're not careful. But there's good news. Nature also offers life-saving fruits, supporting heart health, guiding innovation, protecting memory, and even strengthening bones. Today, as someone who has lived a full life and studied these changes for decades, I want to share with you the 4 fruits you absolutely must avoid and the 4 you absolutely must eat. Your body deserves the best. Let's cut straight to the core. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, I urge you to hit that bone and ring the bell so you never miss another health tip created just for you. If you ND this video helpful, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 so I know how to improve content for you. The 4 dangerous fruits older adults should never eat. 1. Grapefruit, the silent killer for those on medication. At RST glance, grapefruit seems harmless, even beautiful. Its vibrant pinkish, refreshing bitterness, and heart-healthy reputation have made it a breakfast staple in many homes. But for older adults, especially those over 60, this fruit carries a deeply underestimated, hidden danger. Beneath its juicy appeal lurks a biochemical threat few discuss. A threat that silently interferes with the very medications keeping your heart beating, your blood pressure steady, and your anxiety under control. Grapefruit contains a compound that blocks a crucial liver enzyme called CYP3A4, responsible for breaking down many of the most common prescription drugs used by older adults. When this enzyme is blocked, the medications you take can build up to dangerously high levels in your bloodstream, like a dammed river with no outlet. The consequences can be devastating. Severe muscle breakdown from statins, potentially fatal heart problems, excessive bleeding from blood thinners, or intense sedative effects from anxiety medications. For those relying on their medication to survive, this seemingly healthy fruit could become a silent assassin. The tragedy is, most older adults have no idea. They eat grapefruit in the morning and take their pills ere breakfast, never connecting the dots until they end up in the emergency room. Some don't live to understand what happened. That's the price of trusting what looks healthy without knowing the truth. This isn't about instilling fear for fear's sake, it's about wisdom gained through experience. Grapefruit isn't inherently bad, but for older adults on medication, and that includes over 70% of Americans aged 65 plus, it's simply not worth the risk. There are safer fruits to enjoy, without playing Russian roulette with your heart, your liver, or your life. But if grapefruit, as bright and cheerful as it seems, can hide danger in plain sight, what other fruits might also be pretending to be safe while silently working against your health? Equimos un vistazo más de cerca a la siguiente. Es pequeña, dulce y sorprendentemente tóxica cuando se consume en exceso. If you're still watching and ding these insights valuable, please comment with the number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now, let's move to point number 2. Cherries. Sweet yet risky for arthritis and diabetes. Cherries are small, sweet, and deceptively innocent. For many of us, they conjure memories of summer, warm pies cooling on windowsills, bowls of cherries at picnics, and that satisfying pop as you remove the pit. But as we age, what once felt like a harmless treat can now silently betray our health. You see, cherries, especially in large servings or concentrated forms, like juice, dried fruit, and syrups are incredibly high in natural sugars. 1 cup of sweet cherries contains nearly 20 grams of sugar. For younger bodies with fast metabolisms and stable insulin response, this might not be a major concern. But for older adults living with type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, or even undiagnosed insulin resistance, that sugar hits the bloodstream like a wave, causing spikes that damage organs over time and leave us fatigued, foggy-headed, and vulnerable. And the danger doesn't stop at sugar. Cherries are naturally acidic, and for older adults dealing with inflammation, arthritis, or joint pain, that acidity can worsen symptoms. Yes, fresh cherries contain antioxidants, but consumed in excess, especially when processed, their acidic and sugary content can turn against you. What you hoped would soothe your body might instead aggravate the very pain you're trying to escape. And what is the price you pay? Damage that creeps in silently. You might not feel it immediately, but the R up in your knees that ruins your morning walk, the blood sugar spike that leaves you dizzy, the sleepless night from joint inflammation. It's all connected. That bowl of cherries you ate with good intentions becomes a trigger for pain, instability, and long-term harm. It's heartbreaking because cherries seem so safe. But the truth is, as you age, even the sweet things must be questioned. And if these small fruits can upset your balance so much, imagine what happens when your potassium levels spin out of control from something far more common, something many older adults eat every single day without a second thought. 3. Bananas. Too much potassium can be harmful. For most of our lives, bananas have been seen as a symbol of health, simple, convenient, packed with potassium. We were told they help with cramps, boost energy, and are good for the heart. And for young bodies, that might hold true. But as we age, our bodies no longer process nutrients the way they used to, and too much of a good thing can quietly turn into a threat. Bananas are high in potassium, yes, but for older adults, especially those with weakened kidneys, heart conditions, or taking blood pressure medications like ACE inhibitors or potassium-sparing diuretics, this potassium can build up to dangerous levels. Your kidneys, once efficient, begin to slow down, and that extra potassium isn't ushed out of the body as it should be. It lingers in your system, seeping into your bloodstream, interfering with your heart's natural rhythm, your muscles' ability to contract, and even your mind's clarity. This condition, called hyperkalemia, doesn't make headlines, but it sends thousands of older adults to the emergency room every year. 1 or 2 extra bananas over the week can be enough. You might feel heart palpitations, weakness in your legs, or a sense that something isn't quite right. But by the time symptoms appear, the damage may already be underway. And the price you pay, a fruit that should nourish you, becomes a threat to your balance, your energy, and even your heartbeat. Most older adults never suspect the banana. It seems too simple, too healthy. But simplicity can be deceiving, especially when your body's internal systems are more fragile than they appear on the outside. So before you reach for that next banana, ask yourself, is this really what my body needs, or is it just something I'm used to? Because sometimes the danger isn't in what we fear, but in what we assume is harmless. And that's never been truer than with a fruit hiding behind the mask of health, one many consider a nutritious snack, but is really a concentrated sugar trap disguised as healthy food. 4. Dried fruits. The hidden sugar bomb. They come in small packages, look innocent, even nutritious: raisins, dates, dried apricots, cranberries. We see them in trail mix, sprinkled over oatmeal, or ordered as a healthy option in a doctor's waiting room. But for older adults, dried fruits hide a dark truth beneath their wrinkled skin. They are sugar bombs masquerading as wellness. What many don't realize is that when you dehydrate fruit, the water is removed, but the sugar is concentrated into a tiny serving. A handful of raisins might seem harmless, but it's equivalent to eating an entire bunch of grapes, without the BR, without the hydration, and with all the sugar compressed. Furthermore, Most dried fruits sold in stores are coated with added sugar or preserved with salts, substances that can worsen conditions like asthma, trigger migraines, or cause gut inflammation. For those of us already dealing with type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, or digestive sensitivity, these tiny bites can wreak silent havoc, glucose spikes, digestive distress, and worst of all, a false sense of health. You think you're making a good decision, but your body is paying the price in silence. And that price is the slow damage from a daily snack that looks healthy, the glucose surge that strains your heart, the indigestion that ruins your sleep, the energy crash the sugar high. Dried fruit might seem like a friend, but for many older adults, it becomes an invisible thief, stealing comfort, balance, and metabolic stability. Over time, we must learn to question not just what tastes sweet, but what has been processed to look healthy while silently causing harm. Because just as some fruits deceive us in their dehydrated form, others, fresh and whole, become the medicine our bodies truly need. So now, let's turn towards hope. The fruits that restore, protect, and energize even at 60, 70, and beyond. What should you be eating every week to stay strong, clear-minded, and stable? Let's start with a small blue fruit that could save your memory. 1. Blueberries, a brain guardian. There is something quietly magical about a blueberry. Small, unassuming, and understated, it rarely demands attention like other, more flamboyant fruits. But within each little berry lies one of nature's most potent GIs, especially for those of us already walking through the more mature chapters of life, in a stage where memory begins to fade and clarity slips through our ingers. Blueberries offer hope, not just comfort, but protection. Science has confirmed what many of us feel. What we eat impacts how we think, how we remember, and even how we feel. And among all the fruits studied for their impact on the brain, blueberries stand at the forefront. Rich in anthocyanins, the deep blue pigments not only give them their characteristic color but act as guardians that cross the blood-brain barrier, reduce inflammation, improve communication between brain cells, and protect against the oxidative stress that deteriorates memory and cognitive function. Regular blueberry consumption has been linked to slower cognitive decline, beer decision-making, and a lower risk of Alzheimer's. For older adults, these are not small promises, they are lifelines. More time to remember loved ones' names, more moments of clarity on quiet mornings, and more independence when it matters most. But the beauty of blueberries isn't limited to the brain. They also help regulate blood pressure, protect the heart, and are low in sugar, making them ideal allies for diabetics or those with cardiovascular concerns. Half a cup a day, whether in yogurt, oatmeal, or on their own, can make a real difference. In a world led with pills and prescriptions, it's easy to forget that some of the most powerful remedies grow directly from the earth. Blueberries prove this. They don't just nourish, they gently protect, restore, and preserve what matters most, your mind. And if this small blue fruit can sharpen your memory, imagine what a crisp, ber-rich apple can do for your heart, and why one a day truly might keep the doctor away. 2. Apples, the heart and fiber hero. There is a quiet wisdom in the old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And while it sounds simple or outdated, this humble fruit holds truths more relevant than ever for those of us past 60. At a time when the heart needs more care, digestion becomes delicate, and the body craves balance, the apple offers powerful protection in the most common form. Rich in soluble BER, especially pectin, they help trap cholesterol in the digestive system and remove it before it enters the bloodstream. For older adults, this means actively lowering bad LDL cholesterol, reducing the risk of heart attacks and strokes without needing more medication. Furthermore, they are low in calories and sugars, making them a safe, sustainable snack that helps control blood sugar and maintain a healthy weight, key for both heart and joint health in maturity. But apples do more than protect the heart. Their BR supports gut health, combating the constipation so common and frustrating with age. Their antioxidants, quercetin and flavonoids, also reduce inflammation, support overall health, and help prevent certain cancers and neurodegenerative diseases. And perhaps just as important, apples are familiar. They carry memories of autumn harvests, homemade pies, and the simple joy of a crisp bite on a cool day. That combination of nourishment and nostalgia strengthens both body and soul. A fruit so accessible can shape your health profoundly. So yes, an apple a day can make a difference, not just for what it gives, but for what it helps you avoid. And if the apple is a silent guardian of the heart, what about a fruit that nourishes your bones, your brain, and your skin all at once? It's creamy, rich, and misunderstood. 3. Avocado, the healthy fat that fuels your body. Among all the fruits on the table, the avocado stands apart. It doesn't burst with sweetness, it doesn't gleam with vibrant colors, and you rarely see it in a fruit bowl on the counter. But for those of us who have crossed the age of 60, the avocado is more than food. It is fuel for longevity, clarity, and strength. Rich in monounsaturated fats, it offers the type of fat the aging body needs, fats that don't clog arteries but protect the heart, nourish the brain, and reduce bad cholesterol. They decrease inflammation throughout the body, easing pain in aging joints and making movement easier. For those living with or wanting to avoid heart disease, this fruit can be a game changer. But the benefits extend further. Avocado is a source of vitamin K, crucial for bone strength and preventing fractures. Something often ignored until a fall reminds us how fragile we are. It also provides folate and potassium, which help regulate blood pressure, improve circulation, and reduce the risk of strokes. And thanks to lutein, a powerful antioxidant, it cares for eye health, protecting against macular degeneration and age-related vision loss. Beyond the science, avocado carries a sense of richness, not just because of its texture, but because of how it makes us feel. A few slices on whole-grain toast or a scoop alongside fresh greens becomes a daily ritual of self-care. It feels like nourishment, not restriction. At a stage of life where many foods become forbidden, avocado says, "I am here to help you, not to hurt you." While some chase fads or exotic superfruits, this creamy green fruit works quietly, steadily, and profoundly. And if avocado brings strength to your bones and clarity to your mind, imagine a fruit that not only calms your digestion but also reduces inflammation throughout your body, especially where you feel it most, your joints. Let's talk about the healing power of papaya. 4. Papaya, the digestive and anti-inflammatory miracle. In a world full of antacids, joint creams, and supplements, it's easy to forget that sometimes the most potent relief comes from the simplest source. Papaya, with its golden ash and tropical avare, is more than a pleasant dessert. It is a natural healer, especially for older adults. As we age, digestion becomes more sensitive. Meals that once sat well now cause bloating, reflux, or discomfort. But papaya contains papain, a natural enzyme that helps break down proteins and eases the digestive load. For those suffering from slow digestion, irregularity, or medication side effects, papaya offers real relief. Furthermore, it is rich in vitamin C, which strengthens the immune system, protects the skin, and GHTS inflammation, key in diseases like arthritis or heart conditions. For those facing joint stiffness, inflammation, or weakened immunity, this fruit quietly works to restore balance from within. Its texture is its avare delicate, and its impact profound. It requires no cooking or complicated preparation. Just a few slices a day can transform health from the inside out. Papaya reminds us that healing isn't always in a pill. Sometimes, it's in a fruit wrapped by nature, ready to serve those seeking wellness instead of quick Z's. And now that you know the fruits that care for your brain, your heart, your bones, and your digestion, the question is, what happens when you link these choices together? How do you transform these foods into a simple lifestyle that protects your future? Bite by bite. Your health is in your hands, one bite at a time. At this stage of life, there is a quiet truth that becomes clearer with each passing year. We can no longer afford to neglect our health. The foods we once ate without thinking, that we grew up with or celebrated with, carry direct weight today. Every bite either heals or adds to the burden your body already carries. But here is the hope. It is never too late to choose beer. And those beer choices aren't always radical. Sometimes they are as simple as choosing blueberries instead of dried fruit, an apple instead of a sugary snack, avocado instead of a processed bar, or papaya instead of reaching for a pill for relief. Small decisions, day, build something powerful, a stronger heart, a clearer mind, more stable joints, beer digestion, and most importantly, a sense of control over your well-being. That is a GI worth guarding. We must also gracefully accept that not all foods we once loved are still good for us. Some fruits, even though natural and beneficial, can become a challenge for our aging bodies. Grapefruit, bananas, cherries, dried fruits, they are not evil, but they demand caution. They require us to consider our medications, sugar levels, kidneys, and specific conditions. Being mindful is not being fearful, it is maturity, it is honoring the body that has sustained us all these years. This is not a list of prohibitions, but a reminder of all that you can still enjoy. Nature gave us an abundance of healing foods. We just need to choose them with intention. So whether you are 60, 70, 80 or beyond, remember this, your health didn't get low behind. It is right here, in every meal, in every decision. The fruits you choose can be more than just food. They can be your allies in longevity, your protectors, your daily act of self-respect. And when you care for your body with knowledge and love, you don't just add years to your life, you add life to your years. Because you deserve to age with strength, with dignity, and with joy, one conscious bite at a time. May this message inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What did you learn, and what will you apply in your life? Leave a comment with the number 1 if this video added value to you, or 0 if it didn't. Your opinion is valuable. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and remember, life is lived best your way.